Okay, so it's been a couple of months since we posted a video, and we was actually supposed to do a tutorial today for Collective Soul's song December. And as I was driving away from the house on the way to the studio here, I realized that I left the guitar inside the house, so I was so looking forward to doing that tutorial, and doggone it, I just forgot the darn thing. So I had an idea in mind already to do one other video, and then another one popped into my head. So it's basically just me talking here. So you heard the latest update on COVID-19. The CDC announced 3 weeks ago that not even 10,000 people have died of just COVID-19. People who just had COVID-19. Not even 10,000 people. So what's my point? Well, my point is that everybody else who has died of COVID-19 had another possible cause of death. So what does that mean? Well, what it probably means is that person did not die of COVID-19, or the person died of something else and it was blamed on COVID-19, you see. And what you gotta know about Medicare is that medical examiners can lie on a medical certificate to blame the cause of death on an existing pandemic. And they get more money from Medicare for each patient that dies from it. Did you know that? So let me ask you a question. Knowing that law exists, that you can lie on a form, and that there's this motivation, the 15 grand, that you'd be getting from Medicare to your hospital, right then and there, that makes me suspect every one of the death certificates that was COVID-19 plus something else. I thought it was really interesting how, wasn't it interesting, Rich, when, in New York City, this is like a few months ago, during the height when they were having 700 people die a day from the thing, a couple of honest physicians around the country were chiming in. You notice how nobody's dying of a heart attack, gunshot wounds, cancer, strokes anymore? Nobody was dying of anything but COVID-19. Remember that, Rich? So, considering the fact that Governor Cuomo is a scumbag and de Blasio is a dirtbag, and together they're both a couple of punks, I think maybe all that's wrong and deceitful, that maybe they purposefully ordered their hospitals to lie about all these things so that they could make, the situation out to be a lot worse than it actually was. Here's my other thing. They're going to have 2 or 3 workable vaccines before the election in November, in the next month or so. Well, if this COVID-19 is such this masterpiece virus that is so deadly and spreads so quickly and such a crisis, how are they able to come up with a vaccine within 3 months for it? You thought about that? Unless the whole thing is a load of crap. And been a load of crap from the very beginning. And what happened right before the COVID-19 outbreak? There were 2 major breaking stories. The first of which was the impeachment failed, and then you had the impeachment failed, and then there was Trump's victory lap, which I didn't agree with. I'm not for the guy, right? But he did that speech, I remember telling my friend, I said, you know something? I think this is going to backfire on him. He's going to piss them off, the liberals, that is. And so then there was his State of the Union address, which looked like a campaign event. And then Limbaugh got the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And the very next friggin' day, COVID-19 breaks out all over the world. Honestly, I think the reason why things got so bad here in America was totally engineered. Trump did something I actually agree with. He cut off travel from China. Why wouldn't you? So, what was the purpose of that? To minimize the spread. And the next day, there's 3,000 cases. Why? Because there weren't 3,000 cases. The cases have been lied about, and the death toll has been lied about. And one of the ways that we know this is because a few weeks ago, a woman from out west tested positive for COVID-19. Except the lady has been dead for 4 years. So how does somebody who's been dead for 4 years test positive? Well, that's probably some liberal working in the medical and the hospital who went into somebody's death records and just deliberately put the wrong person's information on the form to come up with a new positive case. Well, guess what? I've got a mind to bet you that 85% of them are that way. Let me tell you what. Liberals need to just get over it. You thought you had the country taken over? Let me tell you what. I'm not interested in politics, and I'm not taking one side or the other. But because you guys pulled the Russian scam, and because you pulled the Ukraine scam, and because of the false dossier that Clinton and her scumbag husband Bill paid for, and because of the pandemic and all the nonsense and lies about that, and because of the rioting, you guys are going to get Trump reelected. Trump is going to get reelected because of you Democrats. Because you've gone and ticked off the Republicans so much. Here's another criticism I have. You guys don't listen to what anybody else thinks. You guys are like scared little babies. When somebody else's opinion disagrees from yours, you're going to come apart at the seams. There's like these areas at colleges around the country where there's no difference of opinion zones because you guys are so insecure in yourselves. If somebody says something you disagree with, you fall apart. And the Republicans are going to come in right under your noses and take everything that you guys have accomplished over the last 30 years because you're insecure. And that's an understatement. Guess what Republicans do? I have Republican friends. I have Democrat friends. Republicans listen to the opinions of other people. And it doesn't make them fall apart inside. The Democrats in this country are getting Donald Trump, and he's going to win in a landslide. Last I heard, in these cities where the riots are taking place, they just did a recent poll. You know what? Even liberals will vote Republican if they think their house is going to get burned down. When it has to do with your safety and whether you can sleep at night or your business is going to get broken into, you know something? Reagan won California in New York in 1884 because of the mismanagement of the Democrat Party back then. And Democrat voters voted in droves for Ronald Reagan in 1884. And he brought back stability and common sense and the rule of law. How do you think Rudy Giuliani got to be mayor of New York? Because it was such a freaking mess. Back in the 70s, you had the Son of Sam murders. And that wasn't all you had. You have the Son of Sam murders, a guy walking around in the streets of Brooklyn and the Bronx and Queens with a gun in his hand, and some dog telling him to shoot people who are kissing each other in the streets. And they elected a Republican mayor to fix it up. That's exactly what's going to happen this time. I predict Trump will win Minnesota. I predict Trump will win New York. I predict Trump will win Oregon. Because 2-1 voters, 2-1 liberals in these cities are saying they're going to vote for Trump because they think he's the only one who will take it seriously because Biden, he's not going to do anything about it. So, but none of this is surprising to me. This is the most arrogant thing I will ever say in my entire life, and it's true. I'm smarter than most people. Not like book smart. I got common sense. And the very people in this country who say they have common sense don't. The latest CNN poll shows this. The latest CNN poll shows that Biden is winning in all these states. Right? Right, Rich? Say right. Yes, you can speak. You can talk. So they also do this other poll where they come up with the issues. And there's usually about 5 of them. The economy is usually one. Military. In this case, COVID response. Trade. Violence. This, that, and the other. CNN's own poll shows Trump winning among voters by 10 points in the top 3 issues. And yet Biden's ahead in the poll? That's a lie. You know how you come up with that? I'll tell you how you can come up with that. Because the liberals at CNN take the poll that they're not going to broadcast because it doesn't speak to their agenda, right? And they put that on television. They go and they say, what's a poll? A poll is when you have 15 people and you sample 5 Democrats, 5 Republicans, and 5 independents. So CNN's polls consist of 15 people, 13 Democrats, and 2 independents. That's not a poll. They show the poll they want you to see. You look at CNN's internal polls, and that tells you who's going to win. And CNN's internal poll shows that Trump is kicking Biden's butt in every issue that matters. My point here is, if you are so insecure in what you believe, that you can't listen to the opinions of other people without coming unglued because of it, then you need to wake up. And maybe even come to the center a bit. Maybe some of the ideas of the people you disagree with, you can accept and find some common ground. You know why I say that? Because I'm tired of hate, and I'm tired of anger, and I'm tired of this country being painted into this light that we're some kind of evil, wicked nation. We're not. It's not a racist country. There are people here who are racist. We've been working on it for the last 150, 180 years. You see. Okay, go ahead, Rich.